This is Social Buzz TV.
Hey everybody, this is Gary Vaynerchuk, and you're watching Social Buzz TV.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome to a very special episode of Social Buzz TV, episode number 10. That's one special reason why. The next is we also turned 1 year old this month. But aside from all that, we're on location here at Books and Books in Coral Gables tonight with a very special individual for his book signing. Tonight we're with New York Times bestseller of Crush It! And now the Thank You Economy, Gary Vaynerchuk. Gary, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Did I hear episode number 10 at the 1 year anniversary? I just want to make everybody aware that I hit episode number 10 of Wine Library TV 2 weeks into my show.
Tweet away, folks. Social Buzz TV has been called out by Gary V and Wine Library TV. It's all good. We just shook on a challenge. I will be pumping an episode a week out. You guys hold me to that. Very, very special time for us here. As Gary talks about on a lot of his episodes, very emotional episode for myself and Social Buzz. We launched a year ago, but prior to that, a year ago this time, I was reading Gary's first book, Crush It! Had no clue what was next. I was frustrated. I just knew I wanted to build my brand, and I knew a lot about social media. So I read Crush It!, his first book, which was awesome. If you haven't read it, go get it. Get the Audible version because he goes off on all kinds of crazy tangents, and it's awesome. But the intent has literally went up. I go, that's it. I'm going to build my brand and by educating people about social media, and we'd be here till next week talking about the last 12 months. But it's very, very special, Gary, for you to be with us to celebrate not only our wimpy little 10th episode, but also our 1 year anniversary. You are truly an inspiration to everything that I have done and put into Social Buzz over the past 12 months. This guy exemplifies integrity, authenticity. His famous line that I repeat continually, that authenticity trumps likability, which is 100% true. So on behalf of myself and the entire Social Buzz team, Gary, thank you, and we look forward to seeing what could be happening with Social Buzz TV and Gary V. I like the rhyme of that. So welcome to the show again.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. That's, now that Crush It! Is, 18 months old, which means that people had time to read it, start executing, and maybe now, because, even though I'm in sprinter's clothes, I'm a marathon runner, right? I'm an over-the-top, excitable guy like you are, and I think people get confused about what my message is. I'm not looking for the quick buck. I'm not looking for the one-night stand. I'm looking to run a marathon. And the people that have been executing on the Crush It! Blueprint and thesis, it's not a blueprint, it's not like do this, but the people that are starting to see results has been extremely rewarding. So to hear that it's been a nice impact is tremendous, and that's what I want to continue with the new book.
Awesome. Let's get right down to it. We're here tonight for Gary's newest project, The Thank You Economy. Awesome content thus far. I'm in the middle of it. I'm not a reader at all. This book has literally forced me to become a reader. I squeaked through with Crush It! Because all I had to do was throw it on the iPod in the morning during the workout. But let's get down to it regarding what the Thank You Economy is all about. Gary, why the Thank You Economy for a title? What's the message behind it? I don't think people really get it.
Yeah, so the reason it's a title is that somebody kept I did like 100 interviews after Crush It! Was number 2 on the New York Times bestseller list. Everybody's like, whoa, where did this guy come from? What does that mean? How did he sell so many books? And finally, in one of them, frustrated out of really being able to explain it, I said, well, the Thank You Economy. And the interviewer was like, huh? And I was like, huh? I was like, let me remember that stuff. Basically, I think that I pay forward. I think that because I pumped out 700 free wine shows, because I answered 100,000 emails, because I responded to tens of thousands of tweets, because I engaged on my Facebook fan page, facebook.com/Gary. I just wanted to brag that I got /Gary. Because of all those things, I felt that when my book came out, it was $20, that I basically guilted my community into buying it, right? That, when you give so much, it's kind of like why you would do something for your parents or your older brother or sister. They've done so much, you want to if they ask you for something, you just can't say no. I believe in that very much. I believe in giving in a world where all the marketing is push, right? You go look at a Twitter account or a Facebook account or a YouTube account or a Tumblr account right now, and all you see is people pushing. Watch my show, buy my book, do this. You go look at twitter.com/GaryVee, and I hope you'll see a boatload of @replies with the sprinkling of come into this bookstore, come and see me. And so this book talks about the ROI of social media when executed properly, not trying to push or close on the first date. It's about building true relationships and then monetizing long term. I'm looking to create customers that, buy my wine, buy my books, consume my product for the next 80 years, not for the next 8 minutes.
Right. It definitely is about longevity, and we have the opportunity to leverage social media in these relationships, to be able to do that.
Yeah, but the problem is that everybody just wants it now. I mean, patience is like gone. Like everybody, I look at like real estate agents and internet marketing people, and just like there's so many people out there trying to close within the first interaction. Like, buy my stuff, here it is. And that's not what it's about.
So I watched CNN the other night. Great job, as usual. I'm really just throwing it down raw style and not sugarcoating anything and just slapping everybody around. Everybody wanted to go about, here's what I'm doing with Twitter and here's how Twitter does this. And Gary goes, how about listening? Really? I mean, do I have to throw up on myself in the green room for you guys to like...
I don't know if Martha Stewart was happy with me.
Well, high five, Martha.
Sorry, Martha.
Why is listening so important in business these days? I mean, word of mouth is back and the old way of doing business is back.
Word of mouth has never left. Word of mouth is scalable. It's on steroids. It's Barry Bonds out, right? And so I think that listening matters because everybody's talking, and so the one listener wins. It's the same old game. Think about the friend that calls you with every problem they have, and then think about the person you would call if you had a problem. I want to be that person, because that person has dramatically more social equity. And now that we're living in a word-of-mouth infrastructure world where people are sharing thoughts on Facebook, Twitter, status updates, tumbling, this is going to continue to expedite. We're in the beginnings. We're like in the first inning of an 18-inning, double overtime game right now. And we may even be in the national anthem. People are underestimating how early this all is. Everything we talk about didn't exist 7 years ago. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. 7! That's like 4 minutes ago. And so it's very early, and I think the impact is going to be quite substantial. This stuff is overthrowing governments in the Middle East. Do you have the audacity to not think this is affecting your business?
Exactly. Great point, too. And speaking of the ROI and the four-letter word engage, but is the true ROI engage on how to gauge that ROI really converting your community and your customers into ambassadors, into advocates that are really going to be a concrete relationship to continue to spread the word about your brand and endorse your brand? I mean, where are we at with ROI?
I think any company that looks at lifetime value of a customer understands the value of social media. It just matters how patient you could be. I have a lot of clients now with Vaynermedia, Campbell's and PepsiCo and National Hockey League, and big clients, Fortune 500 companies, and their ROI needs to come in a little quicker, right? They report quarterly. They're on the street. Wall Street affects them in a great way. I would say this: if you're watching this right now and you're a solopreneur, an entrepreneur, a very small business, and you have nobody to report to, you need to run the marathon. You should not worry about the ROI. You should just worry about building actual customers and engaging with the customer where they are, which is now the social webs. If you're, brand manager for Kleenex or Nike, I get it. It's a little different. What you got to do is allocate a different fund and do some ninja stuff over here with social. I don't think it's about brand advocates. I think it's about people that actually buy your product. I think that when I engage with people and I reply to them on Twitter and I hang out with them on Ustream, that when they're walking through the airport and they see my book, they buy it. If you don't believe in impressions, then forget television and print and radio and everything else. I believe that impressions matter, especially when you're doing one-on-one marketing in the trenches of social. If somebody says your show is good or your product is delicious or they had a good time at your movie, you are grossly negligent to not engage with that in 2011.
I agree 100%. And we've lived that with Social Buzz. That is the Social Buzz TV story. Going into every scenario, especially in the community, we have the advantage of living in a big city like Miami and just saying, hey, listen, come hang out on our networker. For what? So we can find out if there's any synergies. And it's grown and grown and grown. But all we've done is keep the mindset of caring and really building that community. Let's close it out with one bit of advice to the social media skeptics that we all run into on a daily basis. They're all out there, the ones that say, Sebastian, I know I need you. Gary, I know I need you. But social media makes my ears bleed, and I'm just not ready for it yet.
Yeah, I really don't give a crap about those people. I'll be very honest with you. The more people that don't get it, the more pie I get to eat. So I'm not worried about Vaynermedia getting clients because I'm just not. In 2007, every conference I went to, people raised their hand and said, Gary, how do we convince people Twitter's awesome? I'm like, we don't. The longer we have this, for ourselves, the better. I really have no interest or energy to convince anybody this matters. I'll just see you on the flip side. I'll see you in about 36 months. Come talk to me.
Couldn't agree 100%. Gary, awesome answers, as expected.
I have one last thing to say. I hate the Dolphins.
I knew that was coming. I knew the little JETS had to be done. It absolutely did. If you haven't done it already, the Thank You Economy is on shelves everywhere, online, Amazon.com, New York Times bestseller. Grab Crush It while you're at it. Amazon will work you a deal, or if you're in the Miami area, stop by Books and Books. Our friends here would be happy to sell you a copy of it. Great information. Follow it. What he's talking about is real. It's influential, and it's changing the way people think, not just Social Buzz and Sebastian's high energy level, the rest of the world. I see it happening. The room full of people waiting for Gary to come in and speak and sign books, understands it, and gets it. Well, that's all the time we've got for this episode of Social Buzz TV. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for tuning in.
What is Facebook? What is Twitter? A blog? What? If you found yourself asking similar questions, socialbuzztv.com will make sense of it all. Be sure to check us out online at socialbuzztv.com. While there, be sure to follow us on Twitter and become a fan of us on Facebook. Social media is the way of the future. The revolution has begun. Be sure to continue to spread the word. Everyone needs social media. Everyone.